in this.
So who started it?
Ed was passionate about helping people because Ed lived in a haunted house. He lived in a haunted house in Bridgeport, Connecticut from age 5 to age 12. So he said to me, when I got out of the Navy, I said, I'm gonna find out if other people had the same experiences that I did when I lived in that house.
From the time that I was about 7 years old, I remember seeing lights around people. I realized that I was communicating. My Catholic faith is very, very important to me and still is today, and that helped me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another super edition of Seekers of the Supernatural podcast. I'm your host, Tony Sparrow, along with Chris Galoran and Dan Rivera. And also, we have a special guest tonight, which I want to have Chris introduce you to and to give you a rundown about the TV show, about the podcast tonight. Okay, Chris.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Our guest tonight is Kris Smith. He's the founder of Horror Road Trip, a global adventure series dedicated to uncovering the darkest corners of the world, from haunted asylums and paranormal hotspots to the most extreme haunts ever created. Kris takes viewers on a visceral journey into the heart of fear with a passion for immersive storytelling and firsthand experiences. He dives headfirst into the unknown, capturing the thrill, the terror, and the truth behind every chilling location. So without further ado, you want to bring Kris right on, guys?
Yeah, bring him right on.
Chris on.
Here he is.
Hey, Chris.
What is up, guys?
Thanks for coming in. Let me get you on there. Hold on. You're the highlight. There you go.
Man, I can't even tell you how much I'm kind of fanboying out here, hanging out with you guys in this location. This is just like dreams come true.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, since before I was even knowing that you could do paranormal investigations, that I was following Ed and Lorraine. And they're just like big icons in my life that I've looked up to. And to now be here sitting in their home.
So when was the first time you actually ever heard about Ed and Lorraine?
So I originally heard from them way back when they were very active doing their stuff. My grandma, I would sit with her, and she was huge into ghosts and spirits and all that. She would always tell me about reading articles about them, stories about them. And so it was just two names that I grew up knowing.
Right.
Good.
And,
Good.
Is your grandmother still alive?
No.
Sorry to hear that.
She passed a while back, but yeah, being able to finally come here and talk to all of you, the stories that I've heard today are just, it's amazing. It's just a lot to take in today for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here for sure. So, how old were you when you first knew about him? Were you a kid, like a baby, or?
Oh no, I was probably about 7. I want to say around 7
years old. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what, 40 something now?
Yep, 42 now.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
So tell us about what you're doing. I mean, you're into the horror thing, making documentaries, movies.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I was in a movie on Hulu called The Monster Inside, where we exposed a very bad person who was taking advantage of people by running a haunted house attraction, which turned into a torture house.
What do you mean by turn into a
like
torture
it's
house?
straight up torture. myself and 5 of my friends are featured in this film. And for me, like, I was buried alive. I was thrown in a hole and had dirt shoveled over me till couldn't see my face or hear me anymore.
No.
Is this really happened to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Where was
this happen?
This
When?
was less than 10 years ago.
Was it? What state was it
It
in?
was in Tennessee.
Like, well, how do you?
How'd that happen?
How did it happen? Like, what put you in that position for that to happen?
So there's so many tricks to it, right? Like, you go into the haunt and you're told everything's fake, that this is going to be almost like a movie that we're filming, right? And so I go there and they start to do some stuff and you see the smoke and mirrors and you're like, okay, I'll bite. This is fake. And as it goes, when he's ready to get you to stop, he wants that Kodak moment, as he calls it, where you mentally break. And so he told me that I was going to go on almost like a minecart run. I had to get into a trough and it was going to be dragged behind a car. And I was going to videotape it. So I got into the trough and there's tarp over it. I'm hearing stuff hit the top of the tarp. Finally pulls away and the dirt falls on me. At this point, I can't move. I'm a big dude. I'm in this little trough and the angle I'm at. And then he continuously shoveled dirt over my face as I quit 30 some times, telling him I'm done, to the point where you can't even hear me anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so it took years. We were talking into a void for a while, only like you can get like an audience of 25 people. It wasn't getting any help for these other victims besides myself. And it wasn't until Hulu approached me and then I was like, all right, guys, this is our time. We're going to expose this guy for everything and tell the story.
Was he exposed and anything happened to him?
So it actually, because of the Hulu doc, it opened Attorney General investigation on him and his business practices. Since then, there has been other stuff that has happened to the point where he did go to jail for a little while, but the charges ended up being dropped on him.
So, I mean, did somebody seriously get hurt? I mean, hospitalized, or I mean,
yes. It was a person not going through their haunt that was assaulted and almost killed. He got 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder, but those were dropped. I feel there is a lot of political stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
A lot of corruption in the law enforcement there, and you know, I recently was working with Trilogy Media, and they did a whole video on this. One of the best documentaries I've seen on the subject. And they went into talking to law enforcement, the people that were in charge of the case, and looking into their past and things that, you know, kind of shows that things get covered up.
This is a small town.
Yes.
It is. Or?
Yeah, it's Summertown, Tennessee, so it's unincorporated land.
Okay.
So it's like the other counties kind of looking over it, so it makes it even harder.
So it's a small population.
Extreme.
Yeah. Wow.
Are the guys still doing it though?
So people can sign up to go to it at any time, and myself, my team at Horror Road Trip, along with some other creators like Reckless Ben and Danny Burke, we have stopped anybody from showing up in the last it's going on 2 years. July will be 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've stopped anybody from showing up.
Good, very good.
So, do you have any new projects that you're working on now?
So now, that stuff's kind of all gearing down. It looks like he's not really operating anymore, and I'm starting to pivot into the paranormal.
Okay.
Recently, I've been working a lot with Get On It, going to their events.
Who's that guy that owns it? Was it Rosh?
I think that's his name. He's some guy. Oh, there he is.
Is that Rob behind you?
Yeah.
Who else we got here? We got Danger here.
Rob the gun to the
Danger from what's the magazine? Danger.
Ghosted Magazine.
Ghosted Magazine.
Dangerous Design Magazine.
Looks terrifying. Just the 2 heads.
Half our viewers just left. I don't know.
Yeah, so now we got 1 viewer. How many we got online so far? Can you tell?
I can tell.
How many we got about? So
It's like 50.
50 so far.
So
Chris, 1,000 on YouTube.
tell me a little bit more. Like, now you're interested. Like, combining the paranormal with horror,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is
Kinda like
a
a
whole
crossover.
new thing that you're getting into now.
Yeah, so Horror Road Trip really focuses on immersive horror. We love putting on shows, but also kind of educating people in things like the paranormal. At the Rock Island Expo that's going to be going on in October, we actually have a free immersive event for people to try out where we kind of take their senses away and you go on a journey with a haunted locket. So it's something we really enjoyed. We enjoy storytelling. Like when we film the Get Haunted events, we don't just show the event. It's not
Right.
just like a straight up, this is what happens. That's the backstory. That's in it, but there's a story that's told throughout the whole episode. And each episode has a different theme, different type of story.
Okay. And none of that's out right now.
We got 2 episodes out. We got one getting haunted in Franklin County Jail,
Okay.
and then getting lost in an abandoned prison.
Oh boy.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So
Is it on a podcast?
it's on YouTube.
Can you give us the YouTube channel?
Yeah, I know. It's
people
on
can look it up.
Horror Road Trip.
Horror Road Trip.
Yep, that's the YouTube channel name. Both those are there. We also our website horrorroadtrip.com.
Okay.
You can find them on there as well.
So Horror Road Trip is an easy one to find.
Yeah.
Horror Road Trip. Okay.
All right, so tell us a little bit about that episode 1. Because I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you're buried alive. Now you're making these films. So I'm curious. Like,
Yeah. So
where your mind's at.
I have really, if you're buried alive like that, you really have no sense of fear. So I love
Sense of not breathing.
right. I love going to places that are abandoned, supposedly haunted, and just going towards whatever that darkness is in there. Going towards and finding it and seeing for myself what is the story that's trying to be told. Franklin County Jail was more of an exploration video, a lot of history going through. We didn't have too much activity that happened that night, but
What do you do if there's not a lot of activity? Did you just go into the history?
and that's the thing with these videos that we're doing. We're telling some different type of story along with it, and hopefully there's activity to back up that story.
Well, people understand that if there's not, there's just not. It's good that you're not forcing something to happen. That's not really, you know,
I'm intrigued.
really happen.
Sorry. I'm intrigued by the burial thing.
Yeah.
What can you tell us how you felt when you couldn't breathe and stuff? I mean, you got scared.
It was terrifying. I mean, it was, you're knocking on death's door. Part of you hopes, okay, this is
A joke.
I'm going to get pulled out any second. The other part thinks, well, if it goes on a second too long, because you're at the point. I was at the point where I finally got one hand out. I'm trying to wipe the mud and dirt off of my mouth as I'm screaming to stop, and it's just mud pouring in. I can't even talk. I can't even gasp for air.
Oh boy.
Now, roughly how long was this going on? Do you remember?
I think it went on for like 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
And then what they do? Dig you out, or what they do?
Yeah, pulled me out. I by the time he stopped throwing the dirt, I was able to push my neck up, so I had like about this much above the dirt. And then he ended up pulling me out, spraying me off with a hose.
Did anybody ever kick his ass?
No, no one does. You get blackmailed that if you talk crap or go to the authorities, you're getting sued for $50,000 for a contract that you signed. Now,
But you didn't sign to be buried alive. Or did you?
I mean, technically, so when you're given the contract to read, he tells you, okay, this is all for show. Stuff, like in the contract, it says you can die, right? Everybody knows you can't sign up to be murdered. That's against the law.
Right.
So, in your head, yes, technically, if we want to go to the black and white and look, I signed a piece of paper that said I could get buried alive. Now, in my head, did I actually know that going in was going to be a reality? No, I didn't.
Not at all. Right. Not at all. Right.
Well, we got a little surprise for you tonight.
You're going to bury me alive.
Look at the shovels, Chris.
You know that piece of paper that you signed earlier?
Yeah.
That's a binding contract, by the way. So, have you ever had any paranormal experiences yourself?
Oh, yes, yes. I had somebody tag along with me. I've been told from Salem. I'm not sure if it was actually there or if it was when I was at the Colonial Inn. And I can never see the person's face, but I can see him. Right? I see him in other rooms of my house, just kind of sitting. The face is always blurred. Probably like a 19-year-old. But I feel him when I go to haunted locations.
You do.
I do, and I feel safe, as if like
Like
I
he's
got
like
something.
Like he's watching you over you or
Yes.
something? Or
Yeah,
your guardian, spirit guide or guardian?
which is odd too, because I've had several times I've almost died in my life.
You almost
the
what?
reason-
You almost
several times I've almost died, and I really should have.
Can you elaborate on that a
Yeah.
little bit? You're buried alive, and now you're saying several times.
So there's one time I was robbed. I was shot at.
Okay.
Was never hurt. Nothing happened. But the big one was when I was in high school. There was an oak tree behind our house, a giant oak tree, 70 foot tall. Ice storm came in and it collapsed and it landed on the house while I was sleeping.
Well,
I remember sitting up hearing the noise, and I just remember a figure in front of me saying, "Lay back down." Pushed me on my chest, and as I went back down, I saw a fan swing over my head, and everything come crashing down. Now there's live wires, it's pouring rain, the whole house collapsed. Right? I have a stick through my arm, in my bed,
Wow.
and break it off. You know, I'm not trying to sound like Billy Badass, but like you're in shock, right? You know,
Right,
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. And so I get up and I'm like, I have to find my dogs. I have to find my dogs. I had 2 dogs in the room with me, and I can hear my mom screaming. I can't even see where she is. I saw just a beam of light, and I went to it, and I lifted up the pieces of the ceiling, and my dogs were under there. I grabbed my dogs, and I saw a perfect way through, got through the tree, and got out. Fire department was there by that time, and all of them were just looking at me like, how did you live? How did you? There are so many live wires and puddles all around you. How did you not get shot?
Oh my God.
And so after that, like, fear was pretty much gone until, getting buried alive.
Did he sign a waiver before he came to
Yeah, right.
here? You're at the most haunted location in the world,
Right.
you know, and now you're telling me all this.
Well, I had to see it first.
You could have told me earlier on that
Could use a little
he's a
more
liability.
Could use a little more holy water. For sure.
you better put some pillows or something, right?
Oh, Wade gave me plenty of holy water.
Okay. Yeah, let's wait.
So, tell me like what your experience like when you were working with Rob and everything. I mean, you guys have like a special like something that you want to talk about that you experienced that you've never experienced before.
There was a really cool one at the Conjuring House. He had an event going on. I had been there before.
Yeah.
And people were walking around. They were going on the outside part of the tour. And I was like, I don't want to really go for a walk. Do you care if I just sit here? And he was like, well, I got a business call I got to take. I went to the bathroom. I come back. I'm sitting in the living room. And I can hear him upstairs walking back and forth, opening doors, talking. Like, I can't hear exactly what he's saying, but I can hear his tone. I can hear that it's him. That's going on for 45 minutes. I'm just sitting there on my phone having a good old time at the Conjuring House. And then all of a sudden, he walks through the front door. And I'm like, how did you
do that?
how did you do that? And he was like, dude, I've been out in my car the whole time.
Oh no shit.
And I thought that was just amazing. There was some type of mimic going on upstairs.
Did it continue after that? Or
No,
stop when you walked
No,
in?
when he came in, it was done.
Okay.
He has that effect on people.
Right.
He's like he appears over your shoulder without you knowing it,
Wow.
like that. He's creepy.
So I got here kind of late. Did
It
Chris
was,
see the museum or?
Yeah, he just went to the museum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you went in there? I mean, everybody has a different feeling,
Right. Felt a little heavy going in.
right?
I think I was more just awestruck at so many legend things that I have seen, objects that I grew up knowing about, like all in one place, and being like, this is the real one.
It's the real place. It's the real occult museum. So, Dan,
You guys speak up a little bit. You're not talking to you. Talking to
when are we going to do our next tour?
Our next tour is going to be July 11th in Gettysburg. That's going to be our next one. That's already sold out.
July 11th to the 13th, right?
Right, the 13th. So
Every day
that's sold out pretty quick.
Right.
Fast.
How about the next one after that? When's that?
Next one, can't announce yet. We are adding a new
Why can't we
location.
announce it yet?
Well, we're going to wait till
Okay. All
we
right.
sign everything. And it's going to be legit.
So everybody, we did add another location.
Yeah, we added another state that we're going to be traveling with the Annabelle.
Right. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming up soon. And then after that, we have Rock Island,
Illinois.
That's the expo over there, which is October 4th.
Yep.
And then after that, we got Lexington, Kentucky, Scarefest.
Scarefest, right.
So that's going to be the weekend of October 17th.
Well, let me ask you this question, though. How can people go to these things? I know they can't go to Gettysburg because it's sold out. How about the other ones? What do they do?
Oh, all they got to do is go to warrensconvention.com and they can see a list of our stops that we're going to be making. We're going to add probably a few more. We're working on them. Like I said, there's one that we're definitely doing, but we just can't say it right now. It's going to be probably be announced on social media
Soon.
Shortly.
Very soon.
TikTok, you name it. Sunday, I believe Sunday is when it's going to be all be announced.
Okay, so Warren's.
Warren's
That's at the
Convention.
end. WarrensConvention.com. WarrensConvention.com. They'll tell you to get the tickets and
We'll get
everything.
you- yeah, they'll have all the links to all the places that we're
That's good. That's great. That's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, Get Haunted is helping us with the ticket sales. Rob created extremeticketing.com. So it's been working great for us. And actually, they got a great format. So when you go there, it's easy to navigate, get your tickets. And Rob they do their own events throughout the country. So you guys, if you want to go on a ghost hunt, go to extremeticketing.com or go to gethaunted.com and see what they have. You guys will have a good time on their investigations.
Yeah, there's a ton of events on there. Not just ours, but a ton of other locations.
Do we have a? What do you hold?
Yeah, I got there's this little hitchhiker that followed me. I'm not sure if she'll talk or not.
Oh, jeez. I can see it perfect.
That little Annabelle? Is that?
This is Lil Annabelle, yep. This is the little
It's
Annabelle.
got the little.
I don't know what to say.
It's got the little
about
thing
that
that
right
says positively do not open. Also. Wow, that looks just like that. Looks like the real one.
She's quiet right now. Usually she doesn't shut off. And
now.
There's a little camera back.
Holy jeez.
Little Annabelle will be going on tour soon too. She's getting a lot of requests for lectures. I heard.
Yeah, Rob, keep an eye on her because
So,
you don't want her to disappear and get lost.
so Chris, do you have any questions like for Tony? I mean,
For anybody.
that are you interested in, like about haunted owls or anything like that? Since, you're making these
I mean,
movies.
yeah, like I got a new video coming out about these 3 dolls that came into the possession of Rob and then came to us. I talked to Tony a little bit about. We got an interview on that, but yeah, I mean, think like if somebody comes in contact with so-called haunted object like the ones that we did, and I feel like there's a bond that didn't happen.
A bond.
A bond with you
With that object,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, close bond. A close bond.
Yes. Now the objects are now not in our possession.
Good.
They are somewhere else. What do we have to worry about going forward, or is that just separate?
I don't think you have to worry too much, especially if you pray to God for protection from anything evil or demonic or otherworldly or inhuman that may have tried to affect you. In other words, those dolls, when you said you had a bond, that was on purpose. that was on purpose to let you get sucked in. To like, these aren't bad. I have a bond. It's almost like my friend. Get you to like get comfortable with it until they want to lower the boom. You know what I mean?
Right.
It may be a month from now, 2 months from now, but the more you speak to it and give it recognition, that's how you grow this negativity, by its recognition. And so what you did was the right thing by severing all ties with it. And then you need to envision yourself in the white light and ask for God to please keep me protected from anything negative that was emanating from these three dolls. And mean it when you say it to God, He'll protect you. He'll protect you from it.
No, it's funny to bring up the religious stuff. So, like, I grew up Catholic.
Good.
As I got older, teens, I kind of drifted, right? I'm not saying that I did. I never stopped believing, but
Right.
going to church, practicing
Yeah.
as much, it just didn't happen. And the night that I had to stay with these dolls, some stuff was said that my only gut reaction was all of a sudden flashbacks of being back at church. And I started saying prayers that I didn't even remember that I made. Saying stuff, I had found a crucifix. It was the only thing that made me feel safe. We had my friend, my partner, business partner in Boston. We were doing the Ossis session over StreamYard, right? So she was there. I had my camera off and my mic off, but she was listening in and I could see her with the blindfold on.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I touched the dolls with the crucifix, she gagged.
Gang.
Yeah, as if it was hurting her.
Wow.
That's the power of the crucifix.
And it was just, I was shocked that all of a sudden that came to me to do that. That's not in my character to jump to a religious protection thing, right? And so I is there something there? Like what made me in that moment feel I need this? I need to do this.
It was God talking to you subconsciously, telling you that you needed God. When you're dealing with something that's demonic like that, you can't fight it. I can't fight it. Dan can't fight it. Kris can't fight it. God can fight it. And when you ask God to do it for you, it's like you have a bigger brother, a big brother who's strong and he's tough.
Right.
And you're walking down the street and you get beat up by two bullies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, your brother, can you help me with this? Of course I can help you with it. I was waiting for you to ask me. And then it goes to take care of the problem with those two bullies and protected you because you asked. So the thing is, God is waiting for you to ask him for that kind of help.
Okay.
And that was a symbol. The crucifix is a symbol of his strength and his protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, somebody had to introduce you to faith.
Well, yeah, I
at
mean,
a growing up,
when
right?
I went to catechism,
That's probably what you went straight to. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like I haven't said some of these prayers in so long, but all of a sudden it was like I didn't even have to think. I knew them word by word.
You know what the right thing to do was at that moment because he told you what to do subconsciously, and you did it.
Yeah, and that was definitely a big experience, an eye-opening experience for me. I still carry the crucifix with me.
See, the thing is, the devil, you can never win against the devil. Never. There's only one entity that can win against the devil. And it's God. Angels are equal to the devil because they're angels. But God is above them all. God, we're no match for the demonic because they can mess with your mind like you wouldn't believe. So, but God knows because God created everything, including the devils. They're angels. Mm-hmm. So always call on God for your protection. That's what we do. Yeah. We know we can't fight. You can't fight a demon yourself. You just can't. You don't have the wisdom like they do.
Right.
Now, Kris, you go into these haunted locations. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but do you go in there and protect yourself, or do you just kind of go in there and
go in? I go in. I do have stuff at home if I have anything that I feel is really negative following me back. Mm-hmm. I do have, I got sage, I got all different stuff like that.
When you go to bed at night, every night you go to bed, you should pray to God for his protection. You just close your eyes, envision yourself with the white light all around your body, covering your aura. You just ask God, say, God, please protect me and keep me safe from devils and demons and human evil spirits. Please protect me from these things. And he will. That's all. That's what I used to do every night in the rain. That's what I do. That's what we do. After protection.
You would think he would know that. He almost died like 10 times.
Right.
He shouldn't even be leaving the house.
Right.
You shouldn't even be here.
He should have ramps going out his door so he doesn't have to walk down steps. And,
He's the only guy I know ever took a dirt nap and came back from
Right.
right.
You gotta watch him when he's going down the steps after this podcast.
Right.
Well, God is watching over you.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to do things in a good way, right? You're not doing anything nefarious. You're not doing anything for any bad purposes. And God would know if you were. Or the devil would know if you were for sure and would lead you down that path.
Mm-hmm.
But God is protecting you. So you really don't have much to worry about because God knows your intent. God knows, believe it or not, God knows what you're going to do before you do it.
Right.
Right? But he gave you free will. And he knows what you're going to do. Just because God gave you free will doesn't mean he's not going to know if you change your mind. He knows immediately.
Right.
Because it's something we can't fathom. We can't fathom the power that the Lord has over millions and millions and billions of people, spirits. It's like somebody asked Ed one time, but Ed, are there just a certain amount of spirits in the world? I don't know where they ever got that. And Ed looked at it and said, what are you talking about? New spirits are created all the time. Every time a baby's born, it's a complete new spirit. It's not the same spirit rehashed. It's a new creation, a new spirit. So yeah, spirits are created all the time, and you're one of them. And you're God's child. And I don't know if you have any kids or not. I don't either. But Dan does and Kris does. They mean the world to them. They would die for the kids, and so would God. But he says he's not going to ever die. He'll protect you at all odds. So anything you do, because he knows your heart.
You're still here with us.
Yeah, I'm still making it.
Keep it that way. I do. I don't want to cut you off, Kris, but I do want to ask Tony one thing because we only got about like 25 minutes left. A lot of people are saying, like on social media, TikTok, and everything, why are you taking these items outside of the museum?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that it was Lorraine's wishes and Ed's wishes never to take these items outside of the museum. Has that ever been said to you?
No. Never.
Never been said to you.
And I know Ed since 1979. He never said to me, Lorraine never said to me, don't take these objects out of the museum. What he said to me, though, was, I want you to show these objects to as many people as you can.
Right.
That's what he said to me.
Right.
And you know the reason why I can't in the museum, like you can't bring people there.
Right.
It's because of the zoning issues.
Correct.
So I'm just following his orders, actually. He told me to show that doll. When you show the doll, you're showing the evil is real, the evil exists.
So we get into that. Explain that. What is the message that Ed wanted you, us as NESPR, to continue doing?
He wants us to continue warning the public that not to dabble in occult practices, and that that God is real, and that the devil is just as real, and the devil is a real entity. And he used to say to me, a picture's worth 1,000 words. But I used to say, what do you mean? He goes, well, if somebody comes up to me and asks me about the Annabelle doll, and I tell them all about the history of the horrendous stuff that happened with the Annabelle doll, and people ask me, well, what did you do with the doll? Can I see it? Oh, no, we had to get rid of it. We buried it. Oh, how about the satanic idol that I heard so much about that was in the woods at Sandy Hook that was worshipped by a satanic high priest? Oh, we don't have that anymore. How about the creature that the devil made me do a case in Brookfield, the Conjuring 3? That creature that crawled across the carpet and said, you are all going to die. Where's that? Oh, we got rid of that. We don't have that anymore. Because how much credibility would I be lending myself telling all these stories about these haunted objects and never having them and not showing them to anybody? He said, so the more I show them to somebody, he said, the better off it is because they know more about evil and that the devil is real, not just some mythical thing made up by someone. It's a real entity.
Right.
And the devil is always out to get you. So that's why we take the objects out, because I can't have people come to the museum any longer because of the zoning issue. So I opted to do it this way. And Lorraine used to come to the events when we had evenings with Annabelle right in Monroe here at a restaurant. And that's outside the museum. It's about a mile away. She was fine with it. She was happy that we showed these objects to people.
Right.
You know, so people say things, they just making up stuff on the internet. They never had firsthand knowledge of anything Ed and Lorraine said. But they just made it up in their mind that Ed must have said that.
Well,
he didn't say, and the thing about another thing, somebody brought up something about that the motorcycle incident with the Annabelle valve never happened. Well, it did happen. There was two separate incidents. One was with a Catholic priest who came in his new car to show it to Ed and Lorraine. And on his way back to the rectory, he totaled the car. He was going straight on 84, and he looked in the rearview mirror, and the last thing he saw was an image of the doll, and he lost control of the vehicle. That was separate from the motorcycle incident when these college kids came to the museum. One kid came on a motorcycle with his girlfriend and was mocking the doll after and said, "Don't touch it." They put slashes on people, and the kid went kind of nuts when Ed said it put slashes on people. And the kid went up to the glass that the doll was housed in and yelled out, "That's a bunch of BS. If that doll can hurt anybody, do it to me now." And that's when Ed put the young man out of the museum. I came with his girlfriend. And several hours later, we found out he never made it home. He was killed instantly when he hit a tree on a motorcycle. We know that because his girlfriend lived, and she told us what happened. That they were joking about the doll on the way home. So that's a real story. Right. It's not made up.
And I want to get that message out. Now, my other question is, what if we never took these items out of the museum? The museum was closed due to zoning issues. What would happen if we just kept those locked up in the museum? Nobody would ever see them again. What's the purpose of that? We can't continue spreading that message about devils and demons and God.
What happens is that the objects are just going to sit there, fester, and maybe build up bad vibes anyway, unless you have someone go in there and bless the place like we do anyway.
That's true.
That is true.
It's going to build up bad vibes, number one. It's almost like a time bomb ready to go off. But this way, we're saying ritualistic prayers. We're warning the public. In other words, if I could show that doll to one person, and that one person says, "I'm throwing my Ouija board away. I'm not dabbling in black witchcraft anymore after seeing this and hearing the stories, what happened to people," then we did our job.
Right. And not only that, you have all these young kids now getting into paranormal investigating. They only know the Warrens from the movies. They don't see or hear the stories about how Ed and Lorraine educated the public how to protect yourself and how to investigate. So we're still continuing that. And it's one of the reasons why we're bringing these items out to the public before we can educate them about what Ed and Lorraine taught you, and as well as, taught to us how to handle these objects, how to protect ourselves when we go on investigations.
He told me how to protect it from the object, from the doll especially, because he said to me, if you ever got to move the doll, what he meant was take the doll out of the case. If you ever had to take the doll out of the case, he goes, "Here's what you do." I go, "What?" He said, get like a jug of holy water, pour it in a bowl. He goes, "Drench your hands in the holy water." He said, "Ideally, first, before you do any of that, you get blessed by a priest," which we do. Then you drench your hands in holy water, make the sign of the cross, name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And you put on either heavy gloves or a comforter or something to grab the doll. Don't touch it with your bare skin. The people laugh at that. "Oh, don't touch it with your bare skin. What's the difference?" Well, geez, they believed it when Ed said never to touch it. But they don't believe it when Ed tells how to touch it. They don't believe that part of it. That's what he said to me. Use either heavy gloves. Don't let your flesh touch the object, is what he said to me. Use a comforter and do it fast. And then bless yourself afterwards, too. And spray holy water on the object before you move it. And that's what we do. We follow it and nothing happened to us because we have faith in God. That's why.
Well, and that's the thing. These are objects. These are objects that are known to have attachments. And
why would you even want to take a chance?
Here's the thing. Well, Ed had these objects in the museum they get the people in the story of Annabelle, the story of the Shadow Doll. It attracts people to come in. curiosity, right? But once he had them in the museum, it just wasn't about the dolls that were in there, the haunted objects in there. It was about, kid, the devil's real. How does it affect your life, right? How could it tear your life apart? All right, things that you do in life. How does the devil get to you, right? That's the part of the education. That's the part of the message Ed was trying to spread, as well as what we're doing. We're bringing the doll around the country. We're getting people to see that, oh, wow, look what's happening. This doll's coming to New Orleans. You know, they want to come see it. But they don't know, once they come in to see us, we're not just talking about the doll.
No.
We're talking about devils, demons, and God. Life lessons, how to protect yourself when you're dealing with objects like this or going on paranormal investigation. And that's what a lot of people that are coming at us say, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Why? Why shouldn't we be spreading the word of God and trying to help people? Right? I believe we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Like when Jesus was going around with his disciples, right? Nobody believed in miracles. But when they saw Christ perform a miracle, cast out a demon out of a person,
And they believed.
in the name of Christ, in the name of our Lord, they believed. When he made a blind man see, they believed.
When he fed a crowd of people with one fish and one loaf of bread that he made just kept coming out of the basket, they believed.
Sure.
You know, it's
So
miracle.
our thing of keeping that message going and what we're doing, we bring these objects out to the public, and then we talk about these objects, and we talk about our faith and protection. And once they hear us, they start thinking, I'm going to start believing that I shouldn't mess with something that evil, right? And the thing that bothered me was, too, when we were on our road trip, people ask for permission from the dolls, like, you know, sorry for gazing in your eyes, or apologize. It's like, why should you apologize?
Can I take your picture?
Can I take your picture? To ask you for permission. You don't have to ask for permission. You do not ask the demonic for permission. You do not say, I'm sorry to the demonic.
No.
All right. This is something that wants to latch onto you, destroy you.
When you do that,
You
open
don't want
doors.
to do that.
When you do that, you're opening doors. Is it okay if I take your picture? You're asking the devil. You're opening a door. You're trying to communicate with something demonic. You don't have to ask. Like Dan said, you don't have to ask permission. You just do it. You ask for God's protection while you do it. That's what you do.
Right. So, guys, the lesson here is continuing spreading that message that Ed and Lorraine has started. So, whatever you hear out there, come to us and we'll tell you the facts. Come to our events, and this is one of the reasons why we're doing this. Is just continuing Ed and Lorraine's work.
Or send us an email.
Right. Or I mean,
I try to answer the
how can
emails,
we
the
reach out
messages.
to a new audience, younger kids, right? I mean, it's through TikTok, through YouTube. That's why we're doing it. You know, they don't know these stories about Ed and Lorraine. They don't know these stories of how to protect yourself in the right way. So, guys, that's why we're doing this. That's why we're taking these items from the museum, Annabelle, and we're traveling with them. Yeah, we got a lot of slack, like going down to New Orleans. Oh, plantation burnt down. 11 prisoners escaped. Maria Laveau's house burnt down. They're blaming that all on Annabelle, right? I believe that had nothing to do with the Annabelle. These are things that just happened, and it was just coincidence that it happened while we were down there.
You can't blame everything on Annabelle, because if that was the reason why the mansion burned down, the place burned down, how come the museum didn't burn down?
Well, there's a lot of.
That's what I said.
Listen.
You know, so many things. It's been here forever.
And nothing's happened because we protect it.
Right.
We don't protect it even when it goes out.
And the whole missing Annabelle, like disappearance,
Somebody
like
made that
we
story
had
up.
so many people asking about that, and it's
I
like,
think people do that for clicks.
And was it the real Annabelle that went on tour? Absolutely,
100%. That's
yes.
the real Annabelle.
That is a real. We don't commit fraud by sending another doll out. We have the original doll. It's never been any different. Anytime we've shown it, it's been the actual Annabelle doll.
And you can see that
you were given the authority from Ed and Lorraine to continue doing this, right?
Lorraine even asked me when she wrote her will out and was incapacitated in 2007, you want the museum? I said, yes. Okay. And she put it in her will.
Right. and you gave us the authority to take this
Yes,
out to the
absolutely.
public
I
and
gave you
continue
the
showing it.
I told you to do it. Go ahead and do it because we want to spread the word. Any way we can spread the word. People always just say to Ed Lorraine, especially Ed, "Oh, you're only doing this to make money. You only write. You want to write books. You just want to write books and be famous that way." And Ed used to respond. His response was, "You're damn right I do, because any way I can show that the devil is real, spread the word, I'm going to do it." Is that through lectures and
What's
books?
wrong
I'll
with
do
that?
it.
Right. So, do you guys want to answer some of these questions? We got
Anybody ask the question?
how many more minutes we got, Chris?
Does anybody have any questions for Kris? We got about 10 more minutes or so.
Kris Smith, not Chris DeLorean.
Yeah, not me.
But if you have something for Chris,
You
that's
can
fine.
ask me.
Anybody says they got a question?
I'm married.
If
So
anybody says they got a question for
No,
Anthony Cooper or something.
So you're not single?
I'm not single, guys. I'm married, if that's what you're going to ask. But no, Kris Smith, if you have any questions for our guest, throw it down in the chat there.
Somebody did ask, some guy, Felix W. Ed and Lorraine are pioneers, okay. Someone asked, how did Lorraine Warren die? How did Lorraine?
She had dementia.
She died of
Back to
dementia.
If she did not have dementia, I believe she'd be alive to 100 because she was in physically great shape. Her heartbeat was perfect. Her heart rate, her blood pressure was perfect. No diabetes. But the mind started to go in around 2012 and progressively got worse. She went for a long time doing fairly well. Then all of a sudden it drops. It gets worse.
Yeah, and I was here the night before she had passed. And I remember staring into her eyes because that's when she was staring up at the ceiling. And there was a couple things that I realized when I saw that. But then I get that call from you around 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, that she had passed
The
away.
beauty part is that she passed peacefully in her own home. We never brought her to a nursing home, only for rehab from her shoulder, which had shoulder replacement. But we vowed that we would not let her last days be spent in a nursing home, and we abided by that.
Yeah, we actually stopped by to
There's a banging on the
foot?
floor.
Bangul. So, the whole thing about the supernatural realm, ladies and gentlemen, is the devil is here to do a few things, and that is to cause chaos, division, hatred, envy, jealousy, to distract, to cover up things, to lie. That's what the devil wants. The devil wants nothing more than us to not get along. And all it takes is a few bad apples to make it happen. If you take a keg of apples and you put a bad apple in there, the other ones start to rot. It's the same thing with this. When in the paranormal realm, you get a whole bunch of good people. Then you get a few people that are envious. They're jealous of your success. Or just jealous of you in general. Or just don't like you in general. So they got to let it be known to make themselves look good or look better than the other person. Now, if you ever notice, you go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you go on TikTok, I almost defy you in the last year to find any bad posts that I posted or Dan posted or Chris posted or Wade posted. Sometimes you try to defend yourselves and they throw it right back at you even harder because they're babies, they're childish, they're low IQ people. They want to see you fail. People who you thought were friends of yours, you thought were close to you, they want to see you down.
Yeah.
If I don't have any money, any of these people are going to help me out. If Dan doesn't have any money or Chris, anybody can send them any money? I don't think so. But they would laugh if we failed. So you know what? We're not going to fail because we're sending out the good word. We're sending out things of positivity, and we don't charge for the investigations. Do we go on investigations? Yes, absolutely. We don't broadcast them like other people do. It's called privacy. 99.9% of the people we speak to do not want to go public. So we don't. But we help them anyway. We do help people quite a bit. More often than not, we actually help them. And anything we do out of goodness from our heart. there's a quote in Corinthians that says, "Do everything from love." That's what we try to do. We try not to hate monger. We try not to bash other people, other groups. Hey, they can do what they want. They want to have their own investigation team. They want to go out and put on shows, paracons. Go right ahead and do it. But, just leave us alone. Just leave us alone because it's none of your business what we do.
I listen. I'm fine with that. It fuels me. So
What?
yeah, it fuels me. It
none
fuels
of
me
their
to keep
fucking
going.
business. It's none of their fucking
It's none of their
business.
fucking business. But listen, you know what? That's what keeps us going. That's what drives us.
But another thing,
So
too,
Matt,
Dan,
I do want to ask you
nothing of what other people think of us is none of our business anyway, right?
exactly.
Go ahead. What do you
So, question here is: do you feel like you should avoid attachments from spirits that have good intentions?
say? Yes, because you don't know for sure how good those intentions are. They can come off as being nice, and all of a sudden they lower the boom. That's what happens. Demonic entity wants to lie to you, cause chaos. He wants to suck you into his realm, and when he sucks you into his realm, now you think everything's fine, like the bond with the doll. That's a prime example. Nothing good could have come to that, come of that. It's they suck you in, and once they got your heart, once they got your emotions, then they lower the boom, and then bad things start to happen. So you should, even if it's a good spirit, God is a good spirit. Pray to God. God will help you. None of these other peripheral, spirits are the ones you got to worry about. Your mom and dad, of course, they want good things for you if they passed away. They can be your spirit guides. But the one who's really going to protect you is God. God is your protection, all things. When you go out on a bad rainy night or snowstorm, ask God for your protection. If nothing happens to you, and He'll protect you. But
Right.
most people don't.
One last question: do you think the Amityville house is still haunted?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have a clue because sometimes a house could be haunted, sometimes a family could be haunted.
Right.
Only. And sometimes it could be the house and family both are haunted. In other words, I believe the Theos caused problems in that house, and whatever was in that house negatively affected George, Kathy, and the children less. But you and I can move in there and nothing happens because they're not looking at us. They know we're too strong, perhaps.
Mhm.
They can't get to it.
You don't think
in any
anything
fashion.
would be like lingering around or anything
I don't
like
think
that?
so.
I think
don't think so.
I think it. Wait, if there is the house, say the house is haunted, right? There is something attached to the house. I think the house is waiting for the
Could be
right,
dormant circumstances.
circumstances for something to occur.
Just laying dormant.
We've noticed that when we went on investigations,
Yeah. Sure.
an abusive family moves
Yeah,
in,
waits for the next
right?
abusive family or somebody with that negative.
Something negative
Energy that they bring into the house.
That the spirits were attracted
Right.
to in that house.
From what I understand, though, I think I've heard that the people that live in that house now are claiming that. Of course, they could be saying that there's no activity.
Well, there's probably
But they
not.
could be
I mean,
saying
there could
that
be.
because there's
Listen,
people
there could be
in front of the
minor
house constantly
there could be
taking
minor
pictures.
activity there, and they're not paying attention to it. Maybe they're good people. Maybe that it doesn't affect them. But if somebody was an alcoholic in that house, or an abusive person, or if they were dabbling in occult practices, yes, there will be activity in the house
There's
because
one-
they will become a target.
Okay. Here's a question for you, Tony, specific. Last question. Are you looking forward to The Conjuring 4?
Absolutely, sure I am.
How come?
Because I'm in it
Ah,
and
Look at that.
he's in it. But I'm looking forward to it because first of all, it's going to be about the Smurl haunting in West Pittston, Pennsylvania. Jack and Janet Smurl. But also, it's going to have a lot of family things in it. I never saw the movie yet. I was in a cameo scene with Vera Farmiga, Judy and I, which is a short scene, but it was really cool to do it.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of mystery involved, a lot of emotion involved. Emotionally uplifting, also besides scary. And it's going to be the last Conjuring film,
Right.
where that features Vera Farmiga and Patrick as Evan Warren. And so, but there are other spin-offs may happen, like Annabelle,
Right.
like The Nun, maybe, who knows?
Or even HBO
They
Max.
might supposing HBO Max series that's going to be on. So I encourage everybody on September 5th, 2025 to go see the movie. We're going to see it before that at the premiere, whenever that's held in Hollywood. And if I see George or Bradley, I'll let you know, George Clooney, because He's my double.
And-
Or
And somebody was asking, was that their last case? And of course, it
it
wasn't.
wasn't their last case, no. But that was one of their most larger cases that they've had, along with the Brookfield case, along with the Conjuring case, along with Amityville and Maurice.
Right. And they had hundreds of cases after that until I couldn't do it anymore.
Until I couldn't do it anymore. He collapsed in 2001 in March, and he stayed at home with Lorraine. She took care of him. He was a full care 24-hour-a-day patient. Couldn't talk.
Yeah.
Couldn't walk. Couldn't eat. She had a G tube and she fed him through. He just couldn't. He couldn't move. He could look at it because he had a major stroke.
Yeah.
But Lorraine kept him alive until 2006, and he finally passed.
And then Lorraine's last cases I remember was Roberto.
That was one of the
That
last.
was the devil in New Haven.
Yep.
And then it was the Vivian Vance house.
Remember that one?
That
Remember
was one of Lorraine's last investigations.
It was.
And like at her age, and she had her cane.
She left it behind her.
Shit,
She ran right
when
in
that
the
door.
house.
When that, and I remember that when that door opened up to the family, they were greeting us at the door. Lorraine took off.
The cane was still
the
standing.
cane was still standing there at the doorway, and Lorraine went right up to that room where all the activity was, and it was just amazing. This was her last investigation, and how the spirits were communicating with her, and Lorraine's just on the bed, and she goes like this. She holds her chest and she lays back on the bed, and she's just repeating everything that this mean spirit was communicating through her.
That's
Remember
right.
that? And I'm like, oh my God.
The words coming out of her
the
mouth.
words that were coming out of Lorraine's mouth, I was like, I never heard her swear like this. And but it wasn't Lorraine. She was just repeating what they were saying to her. And I was like, wow. But yeah, that was Lorraine's last case.
She was one of the
She
best
did it.
in the
She
world.
did it till she couldn't do it no more.
And, people who badmouth Ed, badmouth Lorraine, they never knew him. And the ones who did know him and badmouth him are just jealous of their success after death. They died, now they're successful. And if I ever see any of these people in person that badmouth, I'm going to punch them right in the fucking mouth. I am. I'm going to punch a lot of people in the fucking mouth.
Yeah. But guys, listen. In saying that,
Kris, thank you. Do you have anything you want to plug, or
Yeah,
are you going to be there?
Just check out Horror Road Trip on YouTube or horrorroadtrip.com. Also, on October 4th, be at the Rock Island Expo.
Very good, Kris. Kris is the man.
yeah. So guys, thanks, Kris, for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time out and sharing your stories with us. Like, I didn't know you were buried alive and
Yeah. Wow.
died
By the
like
way,
10 times.
by the way,
And
Kris, we have a trench outside we want you to dig.
Oh, great.
Jeez.
all right,
It's about
guys.
6 feet deep.
Until our next podcast, this is Secrets of the Supernatural podcast. Tony, got anything to say?
What I like to say is be kind to one another, ladies and gentlemen. Don't believe all the bullshit that you hear. And everybody have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Ed was passionate about helping people because Ed lived in a haunted house. He lived in a haunted house in Bridgeport, Connecticut from age 5 to age 12. So he said to me, when I got out of the Navy, I said, I'm going to find out if other people had the same experiences that I did when I lived in that house.
From the time that I was about 7 years old, I remember seeing lights around people. I realized that I was communicating. My Catholic faith is very, very important to me and still is today.